Okay, so we're going to be reviewing a VOD review of a player that probably not too many people apparently know about. He's actually ranked really high on career right now. He's in the top 50, or he's ranked 52. And this is someone that has been praised by Apdo and Faker for his expertise on this champion. And Faker, I think at one point even went as far to say that he cannot play Gangplank as well as this guy. And Apdo has even said on stream in the past that whenever he's playing and this guy shows up on the enemy team on Gangplank, the game is just going to be harder. As long as he's on Gangplank. If he's not on Gangplank, then it doesn't really apply. But when he's on this champion, the game is considered extremely difficult for the opponents. And that's just because of, well, what we're probably going to be able to see inside of this game. But also Gangplank's ability to help out his teammates via his ultimate, the accelerated gold gain, how adept he is at this champion. And then on top of that, Gangplank is one of the few champions in the game that is a true 6-item champion. In his ability to just completely turn around games, even if you're down 10, 15, 20k gold, you know, if you go to 60 minutes or something absolutely disgusting. Gangplank's one of the very few champions in the game that offer you the ability to still come back from that just because of his kit and because of his numbers. So anyways, this is his OPGG. He has a stream here on Afrika. You can just come to this OPGG. I will link it in the description on the YouTube box below. And you can just copy paste this. You can come to his OPGG. You can watch how he plays Gangplank. Something that I mentioned earlier was that in Season 6, he actually got an ID into Challenger with a 91% win rate on Gangplank over 130 games. And that's just something that is absolutely unheard of. And it's just completely ridiculous. So we're going to see what he does. One of the things that I want to point out, though, is do not just go into his OPGG and try to copy one of his rune and mastery setups. One of the marks of a person that really understands their champion is they understand what that champion needs to do in a ton of different situations and scenarios. And that's why you're going to see that his masteries and his runes and his items constantly are being mixed up and they're being changed relative to the game that he's in, and then, you know, what he believes that Gangplank needs to itemize into for that specific game. So we're going to start this game. Also, some of the interesting things about this game is that the Elise god, who actually managed to get top 5 on Korea as a Elise one trick and almost actually went to play in the LPL. Formerly, her ID was Rehope, or Hope again, and now that she has name changed to Jonghaki. Jonghaki. Oh my god, my pronunciation on that is absolutely terrible. So this is an Elise person. They could easily just ride IDs straight up into Challenger on Elise, and so they're on their best champion, and MangKi is on his Gangplank. Let's make sure that this is working. Yep. All right. So he's hiding the minimap, and this is something that Korean streamers do. So a little bit unfortunate for us, but we're gonna just have to make do with this because I don't want to actually go through a replay because I feel like it's really important to see how he controls his screen. He's talking about the enemy Elise. And I think Misfortune's saying that if we have a team fight at 20 minutes and we lose it, she's just going to give up. And now they're talking about Elise at 1 minute and 35 seconds. They're going to go for an invade because of something that Elise thinks. And then Graves is saying, no, if mid just shows up in mid and shows mid, then we can do this. I know who Spirit TOT is. It's not Spirit. I don't know what his main ID would be, but I do recognize him. He just hovers in Masters Challenger on Korea. Don't know who he is off the top of my head. Rehope writes a question mark, like, what are you doing? Now it looks like they're signaling to go on. MangKi is He's like, wait a second, wait for me. Are you being serious right now? I'm really surprised that they didn't see that ward. Now they see it. You see that he's just auto-attacking Rehope. And then MangKi turns his attention. And he lost the smite. And that was really, really big. Oh no, wait, what? He says what? And he types a question mark. What? Okay. Alright, so MangKi ends up getting red buff. Chases down Nautilus. He's proccing Bandit. And then he writes question marks in all chat. He's probably going to come around from the brush and try to look to get one more parley in. No, doesn't go for it. But he is going to cut him off because he has the red buff. And he's like, yeah, what is this, seriously? No, he's going to farm up with parley. And so now he has to know to himself that Elise can't come top lane. He knows that he's in complete control of the lane, so he just takes E, rank 2. No reason to really have W. His HP value is not low enough. And you can see that he's just continuing to poke and harass the Nautilus. Playing the lane in a very controlled manner. He has the red buff. I think what he's trying to do, that was a little bit of a mistake. The reason that it's a mistake is because there's a chance that this minion RNGs. So we're going to talk about this actually really quick. So he's letting it slow push, but this is a mistake here. And the reason that it's a mistake is because there's a chance this minion RNGs onto this one and kills it. But that's why he's slow pushing, is so that all of these minions' HP values end up getting completely gutted, and it becomes really difficult if he can crash it into the turret. And he knows that Nautilus should not have any incentive to come up and try to farm because he has the red buff. I like how he sets up the barrel inside of the top brush right away, because now if Nautilus goes over there, he's ultimately coin flipping against MangKi. And if he's not coin flipping, then it sets up for a really nice barrel here later on. Ends up missing the barrel there. Goes into the brush to break aggro. Misses both of the CS. That's a little bit unfortunate. And I like how he's just keeping the barrel up and back. Alright, it's continuing to miss CS. No parlay is being used. He's just conserving his mana right now. And he comes down and he places a ward. It's 3 minutes. I wouldn't suspect that Rehope could be back on this side of the map yet, but I definitely wouldn't put it past her to try to cheese that. And now you can see how he's going to harass. Ends up getting hit by a tower shot, but that's not really the biggest problem right now. And I like the pocket that he's playing. And what he's trying to do was he was trying to get this wave into the turret clean. That way it would bounce back into him and Nautilus would lose control. Now it looks like he's backing up. And he's trying to get the wave to come back into him. And I think that he realizes right now that there's a very high chance that relative to the game timer, okay, Elise could actually come back onto the right-hand side of the map. Because let's assume that she got pushed away and then she goes over to her wolves. She clears her wolves maybe around 2 minutes. After she clears her wolves, then she's going to go over to her blue buff. She's going to clear her blue buff. Now, because she didn't use smite, because Graves went for the smite and then MangKi ended up getting the red buff, then she's going to go over to her blue, and she can probably end up clearing her blue buff around 220. And then after she clears her blue, she could probably kill the Gromp. And if she's going to kill the Gromp, then she's going to kill the Gromp around, what, 235 or something? 235 to like 238. She'll end up killing Gromp. So after this, if she hasn't ganked bottom, then she's going to recall. And then at this point, what we can factor in is that she touches down in Fountain around 250, and then she waits a little bit for the regeneration. She stands on the last step, and now she begins to move into her left-hand side jungle. If she is moving into her left-hand side jungle at this point, she most likely wants to continue to farm because it's a little bit of a coin flip to come up to top lane. If that's going to be the case, then MangKi's recall timing would directly line up with Elise's ability to come top lane. He instantly teleports back after just getting a Sheen. Now Elise ends up showing in bottom lane. I didn't see what Elise's CS was. I'm going to recall actually just for my own. Elise has 15 CS. Okay. So she did a very weird route. Somehow she was able to fit Wraiths in there. Now you can see that he's missing a little bit of CS. And he Phantom. Was that a Phantom? I think that was a Phantom. Yeah, it was a Phantom. So he Phantoms Nautilus. Really good chunk right there, and then he just continues to farm out the wave. And I feel like this is very interesting because he's valuing the poke and the control more so than the parley, or the parlay. And now he's backing up, and it looks like he's going to begin to potentially prepare the brushes. Yeah. It's a little bit frustrating that we can't see the minimap because this is potentially unsafe. This is potentially really unsafe, but we can't see the minimap, so it's hard to... Okay, well, we see Graves in bottom lane, and we see what's happening there. Okay, and we're seeing no sign of Elise. And you can see how defensive he's playing right now. And this is because there's absolutely no intel. Was that Elise? Okay, Elise shows bottom. He doesn't hit tab to read her CS, but you can see that as soon as Elise shows bottom, he says, okay, Elise is bottom, and now he's gonna go in and trade. Little bit interesting. This trade is always gonna be bad for Nautilus because you can see the minions that MangKi has. Right? All of these minions are not aggroing onto MangKi, whereas all of these minions are going to aggro onto Nautilus, and so MangKi actually effectively has an extra spell. And you can see that Nautilus handshook on a really, really bad trade. Ends up flashing, actually, even in the end. Now you can see that he's letting the lane come in for a freeze. So he has a pretty nice kill. He gets his ultimate. And you can see that he's electing out of getting CS because he knows that Nautilus can't fix this lane. He picks up a call because he knows that he's already ahead, and he also knows that his team is winning across the map. Uses the barrel to get back to the lane, and I really, really like the call purchase here because it's just added insult to injury. So he comes back to top lane. I'm going to be interested to see if he actually elects to take damage in order to hold the lane. Interesting. Uses one barrel to soften, and another barrel and parlays. And now he's going to begin to pick it up via stacking up waves, now that he has the ability to use the mana on the Sheen, or use the mana from the Sheen, and he also just has the base scaling over Nautilus now. So now we can use barrels to get all that extra parlay gold. And here comes Rehope. Nice animation cancels, and they end up killing him. He could have potentially flashed, but it looks like he didn't want to. And it might end up even actually being bad for Elise and Nautilus. Wow. Rehope turns it. Oh, that was really interesting. Gets a null magic mantle because they have a lot of magic damage, and now he's moving back up to top lane. So if we go back and we assess, should he have been playing up like that, right? If we come right here. So he has the control ward, he can't see Elise. The problem is that despite not seeing Elise, he actually shouldn't play inside of this pocket. He should probably play inside of this pocket because it gives him a little bit of buffer against Nautilus's hook, and it doesn't really put him in any sort of a disadvantage. But if Elise does have the mobility boots, it still plays around it. So it's a little bit of a mistake, and I think that he was just feeling extremely comfortable. And that's ultimately all that it really was. He could have even flashed to get away, but he elected not to, which I think is really impressive, because normally you would expect someone to flash away there. So now we're going to come back. Continuing to farm up with parlay. He's saying even if Elise gets really big, it's going to be okay, because if I get big, then it doesn't matter. And you can see that they're endlessly ganking him. He's holding the W for the cocoon, flashes away, and then he W's the cocoon. He's like, yeah, this is what Rehope does. This is how he does it. And he keeps saying that, like, this is what he's known for doing. Now he's going to move back up to top lane. Don't think that he wants to use his teleport here. He pings his ultimate to his teammates. He also pings his teleport. So he pings his ultimate and he pings his teleport. Instantly teleports down, knows that he can pick up the wave even if they can't get anything off of this, but he knew that Malzahar was coming up. Really nice barrel. He's saving his W. Misfortune ends up going down. He tags him with the parlay, but then he ends up living. Nautilus ends up going down. MangKi has his ultimate available now. Uses it to kill Varus. And now it looks like he might try to dog down Tom, but instead just turns his attention to the minion wave. A little bit interesting because I want to look at, could he have positioned his ult a little bit different? It almost looks like if he just auto-queued Varus one more time, with Sheen coming up, Varus would have died anyway. So I actually think that this was a little bit impulsive of him. I think that he wasn't realizing the full picture because he could have positioned his ultimate a little bit differently. For instance, he could have done something like this or something, right? I can't draw the perfect circle, but he could have definitely put it in a way that it also would have aided him with Corki and stuff. The only way that that would make sense is if he thinks that Tahm Kench still has flash and that Tom can flash to save Varus. But then he must know that they don't. One thing that's, okay, now he just backs off because Nautilus is back top lane, but Jhin ended up dying. And Jhin is like, that son of a bitch, why is she so good? And then he just says Elise's ID. And Graves comments that her gamble paid off, that she went mobility boots first item and it ended up paying off. And Graves is saying that, you know, first item mobility boots victory, or like a victory for first item mobility boots because it's a huge gamble. It can backfire, but they're basically saying that Rehope is good enough on Elise that it works, and now Elise is really far ahead. So this is a pretty good game right now because Gangplank's behind, his team is behind. Well, Gangplank's not behind, but his team is behind. And his team is against arguably the best solo queue Elise that's not like Peanut or Score or something like that. This is an Elise that constantly gets high challenger with Elise. And he's known for one-tricking Elise. So, I mean, the game is in a really, really, really bad spot. Ends up missing the parlay there. He's constantly pinging his team. And now he's looking to see if he can get to Graves. You can see that he's just trying to micromanage everything to predict like what it is that he needs to do. Now it looks like they're cutting off Nautilus's ability to come up to top lane, or well, now they're gonna dive him. Unfortunately for Nautilus, the cannon minion was there, and you can see that Tahm Kench was actually just waiting. So Tahm Kench comes top. MangKi has his ultimate available. He uses the barrel to check the brush to see if Tahm Kench or Elise are there. He just keeps harassing him with Bandit to get that free gold. They see that Elise actually goes down. He checks on it. Another bandit proc. Bandit super valuable here. And that's all that he's constantly trying to do right now. He's paying attention to bottom lane because he knows that he might have to potentially ult it. Probably just going to go for another bandit. Yep. Just endless bandit procs, getting a ton of gold. I wish I could see how much gold he was getting from the bandit. I like how he sets up the defensive barrel in case Nautilus decides to all in. And another reason that he would set up the defensive barrel right now is because he knows that he might end up using his ultimate for his team rather than for himself. Nautilus actually makes a mistake there, shoving the wave the way that he did. A little bit surprised that MangKi didn't elect to try to tank that and pull it up a little bit and then just use a barrel to get a triple parlay. You can see he's just content to just farm it out. And this is what he's known for. He's okay with his teammates being complete boosted players and falling behind because he feels confident enough that if he just gets to a certain point, he completely changes the face of the game. Another bandit proc. Another bandit proc. Looks like he failed it right there, though. Now he's probably going to go for a multi-parlay. I'm not sure. Never mind. Oh, yeah, he might. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Multi-parlay. He's deciding if he should ulti or teleport. Looks like he elects to teleport first. Now he's going to ult. Yeah. Oh! Did that miss? Alright, so he TPs first. He saves his ultimate until after Tom flashed. Gets the bandit off and the Q off onto Varus. Sets up the E. Pops the refillable. He knows that he's going to need both of these potions, and he just wants them going. Ended up miss. Oh, he did. Yeah, he did. He clipped. He clipped. And now he knows that he can't really offer too much to the fight, and so he just turns his attention to getting minions. So he's just constantly looking to maximize his gold value. And Jin is saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that they could come like this. Misfortune, or Graves is timing the enemy summoners. And now MangKi goes into Phage. Elects out of selling for Stinger. And I think this is mostly because he realizes that he's going to get Trinity Force extremely soon anyway, and he doesn't need the Trinity Force for what he's about to do back up in top lane. So he values the refillable as still being worthwhile. And something that we didn't talk about earlier on was the Spectre's Cowl, so that he could sustain against all-in trades from Nautilus and Elise if they would come up, because the magic resist was really good. But also it's going to provide a lot of utility later on into the game, against the Tahm Kench and against the Corki as well. He's just waiting. A little bit of a mistake there. They end up getting the dragon, and you can see that he's just constantly playing defensive. He's just looking to get bandits whenever he can. Now he's trying to set up minions for parlays. A little bit surprised he hasn't actually popped the next potion yet. Yeah, now he just parlays everything. He pings to his team that his ultimate is in 51 seconds. Graves ends up going down to Elise. He takes a peek at it. Graves just timed Elise's flash. He pings his ultimate again, and it says 33 seconds. Wait, what? What did he just say? I don't fully understand the grammar. I think he's saying that, like, I think he's saying that if we can just live, we can win the game. But he's saying it in a rhetorical way. There's Tahm Kench. Still managed to get off the queue, but didn't really matter. Really good coordination by Tahm Kench and Elise. And he dies as soon as he comes back to the lane. So this is a terrible spot. This is an absolutely atrocious spot for him right now. Still hasn't completed the call that he picked up so early on. He's really far, well, he's not far behind, but he's pretty far, well, see, it sounds weird. He himself is not that far behind because of all the bandit, the parlay, and the call, but his team is super far behind right now. So now he realizes that top is going to be a safer lane for the carries to farm out, and the reasoning for that is because Dragon's not up. So anytime that Dragon's not up and the objectives are mostly on the left-hand side of the map, and that's going to be the primary focus, especially anything playing around blue buffs, your top laner can just go bottom. So right now, all he's trying to do is complete his call. You can see that he's being extremely defensive, super defensive control ward. He's just checking brushes to make sure that he doesn't get cheesed. Now it looks like he's going to go and kill golems. Takes a peek at bottom wave to see what's happening. Takes a peek at mid lane to see if he needs to ultimate it. We can't see minimap because it's not my VOD. He covered his minimap. He's waiting for the 4 to maximize value. And he gets all the parlay gold. And then he pushes on to mid lane, and this is because he knows that Nautilus is in top, Elise and everyone else is in mid, and he casts the ultimate. So it's not only going to shut down the push, but he's also going to get some gold from it, I assume, from the minions. And now he's just continuing to push on bottom because he has the Triforce. They managed to actually kill Corki. He even gets an assist. And then instead of staying bottom with the Triforce, he actually runs up with his team. Now with his team, he's able to shred mid turret, which is the most important turret right now. And you see that he could have easily gotten that turret, and he could have shoved in an entire wave. He doesn't elect to chase Elise. Jhin says, ah, LOL. Sets up a defensive barrel. He pings that he has teleport available to him. He upgrades his ultimate, and then he gets Spirit Visage. How often would you see something like this? He gets Spirit Visage, and he gets another longsword, and now he moves out onto the map. And I like how quick he got it. Like, he didn't even need to think about it. He just knew. He pings to his team that he has Spirit Visage. That's something that probably not a lot of people would expect to be picked up by a Gangplank. And so what he's letting his team know right now is that he's tankier than normal. He's like, I come here to eat, and then I go bot to eat. And then he says to MangKi, you eat it. Like, you eat bottom lane. I think what he said is, you come here to eat, and then what am I going to eat? And then he tells MangKi to go eat bottom. Or to, like, pick up bottom wave. You can see that he's constantly picking up, or he's constantly parlaying everything that he can. He pings that his ultimate's available. And he keeps setting up defensive barrels in the event that someone would show up and surprise him. So he's being extremely, well, he's not conserving his barrels at all. He sees that they're on Baron. He wants confirmation, and he casts his ultimate, and he teleports in. Enemy team gets the Baron. Graves is pinging a turret, and Jhin is pinging a turret. Malzahar pinged a turret, and he didn't ping anything. Now he moves up mid lane. Probably going to see him set down another barrel. Or no, he's going to hold it. He might try to phantom Corki. Tom Kench wins out on the barrel fight war. They end up getting a turret elsewhere, but they can't push on because of the Baron. He pings all of his summoners, or he pings how much he needs. Oh no, he pings how much gold he has, and then he pings that his ultimate is 61 seconds away. And he pings that because they show up in top lane to kill Graves, he immediately turns his attention to Baron. Because he feels like they can't do anything here. Rehope actually goes for a kill onto Jhin. And then Jhin says, seriously, Rehope is so crazy. He pings that his ultimate's 30 seconds, and he gets Sterax. And he just said, I'm going tank Gangplank. I didn't see what Misfortune just said. Misfortune's saying, why are you saying that about Rehope? Something about being too cute and he's gonna die. Okay, Jhin casts Curtain Call. Ultimate comes out. And he just wants to get the Dragon Man. That's all he cares about. Nautilus doesn't know what he's hooking. Ends up missing the barrel. Turns his attention onto Elise immediately. And I really like the route that he took. Just because it's unnatural and it would probably make you think. Let's just watch this fight one more time. Misses the barrel, immediately runs into Elise. And this is so if he ends up killing Elise, he can then just try to run out of the pit so that he doesn't end up having to blow his flash. Managed to get a barrel off. And then you can see that in this spot, it looks really bad for him, but he still has his oranges. So the Sterax pops, and then he uses the orange to run into the pit, and then he flashes away. He ends up running away, and immediately he already knows what he has to do, and he just starts farming with the parlay, and he's getting the golems. Just, like, his brain is just instantly thinking, like, how do I get more gold? How do I get more gold? He pings his ultimate to his team. He tells them when his ult's coming up. He says 65 seconds. He sells Call and picks up Ninja Tabby. He looks top lane and decides that he's not going to go get it. I can't tell if that was my stream. I heard a Windows sound. I didn't know what it was. I'm pretty sure that he would have barrel queued there if Jhin wasn't tilting. Or not Jhin wasn't tilting, but Jhin was showing that he's not like super serious because of how often he's typing. Wow. Wow, the Phantom onto Varus. 1. He cast the barrel before the parlay. One barrel. He cast the barrel already, and he sends out the Q. Sick Phantom. Tom Kench ends up ulting, and he pulls the trigger with the Curtain Call. Because Jhin complains about CS. So he shows his picks up more farm, and now he's gonna recall. His team is still behind. Remember, the enemy team has Baron. Gangplank says, or MangKi's says, I'm going Yumu. He says that he's going to go Yumu's Ghostblade. Continues to just farm out. He knows that he's not really in that much danger because Tahm Kench, Varus, and Elise were mid. He casts his teleport, but Malzahar's already gone down. He actually elects to complete. Oh! Watch the barrel. Watch the barrel. In the fucking middle of everything. He took his shot. Misfortune says, good game. Jin's like, wow, Misfortune, ultimate damage. Graves is like, wow, so tasty. And then Jin says he did something wrong with his keyboard. Rehope almost looks like she's given up completely, which isn't surprising because she is pretty toxic. Rehope goes down. Tahm Kench comes in. The point blank barrel. And now, Misfortune's saying something about tank Gangplank. And I think that Misfortune said something about tank Gangplank is something like chicken. Or it tastes like chicken, or it looks like chicken or something. And then he typed what flavor he was of chicken. That's what MangKi's said. Okay. He pings his ultimate. He pings his teleport. So he pings his ult and he pings his teleport to alert his team. He went Yumu's like he said. Places a defensive barrel. Goes for another bandit. I would love to see how much bandit gold he has this game. He lets him know what's good with the mastery emote. Lets Bertha know what's good. He keeps pinging that he's on the way. And he's going for a flank. Alright, well, Varus is... Flash to get the proc on the barrel. Q's Nautilus. Places the defensive barrel. Phantom's Corki. Auto's Corki. Sets up a barrel. Sets up another barrel. Flashes to hit the barrel and autos. Sets up another barrel. Tahm Kench goes down. Nautilus tries to run. Doesn't matter. And Jin's like, I wasn't there, by the way. ... And Misfortune says, get the fuck out then. Or Misfortune says, just get the fuck out. To Jin. And now Gangplank's flaming. Or not flaming. He's like, ha ha ha. He's like, ha 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 ha. In all chat to Rehope, the Elise. And Elise says, LOL, defeat, GG. And now he says GG. Alright, so that was game one. So that was game number one.